Can Nigel Farage end the Tories?
You're joking. Not another one?
So Nigel Farage has become the leader of Reform. Last week we've seen him getting splashed by milkshakes by people are perpetrating to be paid by the Reform leader himself.
To those latest breaking developments from Essex, where Nigel Farage has been campaigning this afternoon, we've heard in the last few minutes that a woman has been arrested on suspicion of assault after the Reform UK leader had a milkshake thrown over him. Following that incident, Mr Farage was photographed with the drink splattered over his suit as he boarded his campaign bus. Officers were responding and arresting the 25-year-old woman when a man was also arrested on suspicion of assaulting an emergency worker. Both individuals, we understand, are now in custody and are being questioned by police.
He got splashed by a milkshake by an OnlyFans woman, which in another context, great, but not in this one. Nigel Farage is the milkshake magnate. Let's call Nigel Farage the milkshake magnate. This isn't the first time he's been splashed by a milkshake.
Right, okay, good stuff.
Take it away, get him back to the car. Back to the car. Get him back to the car. Back to the car.
It's a complete failure.
Can Nigel Farage end the Tories? Will he end the Tories? Will the moment if he does get a seat as leader of Reform in the Houses of Parliament, will there be Conservative MPs defecting to Reform in their droves? Probably not. The only saving grace for Sunak throughout this entire campaign was that Nigel Farage was not going to be running against him. He understands how Keir Starmer works, he understands how Richard Tice works, he's had months to prepare to work against them. But then when Nigel Farage just comes on the scene and goes, you know what, Richard, I'll take the reins. 5 years, I'll take over. 53% majority stakeholder he is in the Reform UK company, and he just tells Richard Tice, step aside, son, Nigel Farage is coming back. So, do I think this has caused a political earthquake amongst the political classes? Of course it has. Nigel Farage is perhaps one of the most successful politicians, political entities of the 21st century, even the latter of the 20th century. He has been fighting against the EU most of his working life. He has immense popular support amongst people, which is undeniable. Look at the success of the Brexit Party in the 2019's EU elections, which caused Theresa May to then resign because Nigel Farage basically made it fucking awful for her. The Brexit Party had, I think, the largest amount of votes of any UK party in the EU elections. That's how massive it was. And he is one of the driving forces from the background towards one of the biggest policies of our time, Brexit. How can you not deny that he is a powerful political figure? It's impossible to deny. We know Farage resigned as leader of Reform in 2021 and then took on a lucrative job filming migrant boats and GB News. But then, in the last 3 years, Richard Tice has kind of developed the policy platform of Reform, which is pretty hard in this day and age when we're still so accustomed to the first past the post system, when we could actually be having a majority vote system or an alternative vote system that would better serve smaller minority parties and overall better serve the general electorate who are fed up of just seeing Conservatives or Labour in charge for the last 100 years. Obviously, we know it's possible. We know it's possible that smaller parties that come out of the woodworks can engulf main political parties and take over as the opposition, not an opposition. We had it with the Whigs, the Liberals, in the early 1900s. It used to be a two-horse race between Conservatives and Liberals. But in, say, 1906, I think it was, Labour took the forefront. Labour, led by Keir Hardie, took over as the opposition. They were just a thought. They were just a working class party, starting off like Reform, who then engulfed the Liberals to become the main opposition and left the Liberal Democrats, which are an evolution of the Liberals, in the political wilderness for over 100 years. So when people say, can Nigel Farage destroy the Tories? Of course he can. It is possible, and it has been done before. And essentially, Reform are having a policy of everything opposite to Labour and Conservative. Get rid of migration, get rid of the tax burden, Get rid of hospital waiting times, more radical than the other two. No inappropriate sexual education, it's just hims and hers rather than them's. Also, European Convention on Human Rights gone. That's how we're going to get rid of the boats, get rid of the European Convention on Human Rights. And why has Nigel Farage now suddenly decided to stand as an MP? Because Piers Morgan essentially humiliated him on Question Time.
Which has attracted some criticism because you're not actually standing for election.
No.
So why are then you the person who's fronting the campaign?
Don't ask me.
I'm asking you.
I'm not. Well, you invited me on.
Sorry, you've had all year to think about this election.
I've had a TV show.
We all
Piers.
knew it was coming.
No,
we all
Piers.
knew it was coming.
Piers.
This idea you didn't have enough time
Piers,
to prepare.
I have a nightly TV show.
Well,
Yours has been shut down, but mine's still going.
Oh my God. Okay, let's not go there.
If I may point out,
Okay.
I came off old linear television.
You were sacked.
Because you're sitting there
sacked.
with nobody watching,
You're a
losing
user.
tons
Okay.
of
You're a
money.
Yeah, he said his official reason was he feels though he's letting people down by going and campaigning with all these people. And then they're always asking, oh, Nigel, what are you going to campaign for? Are you going to be part... Are you actually going to stand as an MP and actually represent our voices? And he's bottled it all these years. This is the 8th time, I believe, that he's applied to be a member of Parliament, and he's campaigned, etc. And apparently he feels this time that he's letting people down if he doesn't go for an 8th time. Because Piers Morgan on Question Time says, you bottled it, mate. Why aren't you standing? Because you bottled it, because you know you'll lose. And I think he's kind of took that humiliation from Piers Morgan on Question Time that Thursday evening. A few days afterwards, he's standing for reform as a leader, as an MP, in a seat that he lives nowhere near, because he knows it's the only seat that had a UKIP MP. And it's only because the only UKIP member, who was someone who defected from Conservative in the first place, was MP of. He was the MP for that constituency. They had I think they had the most amount of UKIP councillors. It's one of the seats where Nigel Farage goes, you know what, I've got a cracking good chance there, and it's probably the only chance I'm going to get. But I think if Nigel Farage becomes part of Parliament, if he's in there day in, day out, I can see the Conservatives, at least some of them, I guarantee you some Conservative MPs will go to Reform and be a part of Reform. And you'll see Nigel's party getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and he'll be an MP for 5 years. He'll be in Parliament berating any Labour leader or Conservative leader for 5 years. And I think that's well worth a watch. Though I may not vote for him personally, and though I may not agree on all of his policies, and though I do agree there are some far-right activities going on in the Reform Party as a whole, I would kind of like to see. I'd like to see the political earthquake that it causes, the historical moment it would be that Nigel Farage, after all these years, finally becomes an MP and finally starts to put some of his words into actions. Let me know what you think. Do you think Nigel Farage can destroy the Tories from within or from outside? Do you think Nigel Farage is a popular... Do you like Nigel Farage? Tell me if you like Nigel Farage. Tell me if you would vote for him or if you are voting for him. Let me know what you think on the channel, guys. As always, I've been Jake from Just Jake. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and become a member of the channel, because why not? And buy some shirts if you really like. It supports me as a whole on YouTube and helps me to continue what I love doing. So as always, make love, not war. Although you might not be able to get into Reform because making love, not war is probably not part of their policies. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.